Welcome to Coffee and Conversations for Men, a podcast where two men, Jay Guy
and Brian Jones,
sit down to share their stories of struggles, successes, and everything in between as they navigate the ups and downs of life.
Each episode will dive into topics men are curious about as it relates to their fitness, nutrition, relationships, mental health, and being a lifelong learner. If you're looking for real talk, honest discussions, and practical advice, you're in the right place.
So grab your coffee
Or your favorite drink.
and sit back and join us for some candid conversations that will inspire, motivate, and remind you that you are not alone on this journey. So let's get started. Real talk. How many things are you not telling your doctor? The stuff you brush off, the stuff you joke about, the stuff you tell yourself, yeah, I'll just deal with that later.
Sexual health, mental health, stress, sleep, chest pain, blurry vision, things men normalize until they can't.
We surveyed doctors and we asked one simple question. What do men avoid talking about until it's almost too late?
And they gave us topics. But in this episode, we bring you the stories behind those topics, the moments we stayed silent, and the signs we ignored, and what it cost us.
Yeah, and this isn't about fear. It's about awareness. It's knowing what's normal and what's not. And when it's fine, it's actually the warning sign.
Because taking care of your health doesn't make you weak. It makes you present for your family, your future, and yourself.
This is Coffee and Conversations for Men.
Having the conversations we avoid.
Because these are the ones that we need the most.
Jay, you brought today's coffee for me.
I sure did.
So this is amazing. What is it?
My coworker, her hubby went to Cuba recently, and he has friends in Cuba, and his friend has his friend's family. They own a coffee farm.
Get out!
I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. I'm not kidding. And so his friend's family farm, this coffee farm, is called Café Cabrera.
Oh my gosh, what a great name!
Right? And this is it's very smooth.
It's very pure.
There's no undertones to it at all. It's very pure. Yeah, it is straight black coffee. There's no there's no sugar coating at all.
Okay.
I really like it.
Now does their coffee farm have a link? Like, is it on the website? Like, if we add it in our show notes?
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I literally got handed a bag this afternoon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how fresh this is. I
Okay.
literally got handed the bag and I made the pot and I was like, here we go.
Here we
We're
go.
rolling.
All right.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, Jay. This is one topic, men's health, that we've been avoiding talking about. But we've been at this a year now.
Yep.
So I think we can be a little vulnerable in telling some of our stories about how important it is to have discussions with your doctor about certain topics.
Absolutely. And we've been at this a year.
Yes.
And so there shouldn't be anything in this episode that will shock any of our listeners if you've been listening for a year.
But I need to tell you, our spouses will have first dibs at edits.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, my God.
Not because they want to change what we're saying, it's just because we're being a little bit vulnerable about some of the things that we're dealing with health-wise.
Yeah, I mean, honest. How about honest instead of vulnerable?
Okay, all right. Okay. So first of all,
Yeah.
we surveyed 4 doctors
Yeah.
that we really trust and value, and all of them are podcast listeners, which we thank you very much. And we asked them, okay, so when guys come into your office, what aren't they talking about that you kind of have to pry out of them questions to figure out what they're actually dealing with? Because they don't think, either they're embarrassed or they think, oh, all guys go through this. It's no big thing for me. Yeah. But it can be serious.
Yeah. And I think we avoid talking about certain things with our GPs, general practitioners, with our GPs because of embarrassment, because of the fear of, oh shit,
I know.
That thing wasn't there 6 months ago.
I know.
Or
it's there now.
Or it's
and it
there
wasn't
now.
There 6 months ago.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
so I think that's where it comes from.
Yeah,
a lot of the time you're like,
so when we break it down into our 5 pillars,
Yep.
our fitness, nutrition, mental health, relationships, and lifelong learning.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different aspects in each of those pillars.
Yep.
That the doctors told us.
Yep.
And for physical health,
Mm-hmm.
erectile dysfunction,
Mm-hmm.
premature ejaculation,
Mm-hmm.
low testosterone,
Mm-hmm.
prostrate check, sleep apnea,
Mm-hmm.
blurred vision, sudden blurred or loss of vision,
Mm-hmm.
and toenail fungi.
Yeah.
So those are the things that fit, that are the most common. And these 4 doctors didn't know what each other said.
Yeah.
But we were surprised, pleasantly surprised, that they pretty well had the same list. Each of them.
They really, and it was surprising to see that there was that common ground, that similarity of the same things that we're getting told. This is this, and from each one of them, and they weren't together.
That's right.
Yeah, and
That's
so right. If it wasn't obvious before, it was obvious then. That we need to start talking.
And these 4 doctors, one's from the UK,
Mm-hmm.
One was from the States, and 2 are from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a representation that's not just our area.
Correct.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you want to start? Go ahead. You open the can of worms first, buddy.
So I'm creeping up on 50, and we both know what that means. We both know that is a little more tests, a little more invasiveness, a little more exploration than you would normally get at 20, at 25.
Right.
Even 30.
Yeah.
50, they're checking things that they normally don't check.
Mm-hmm.
That scares the shit out of me.
Does it?
Oh God, it scares the shit right out of me.
Okay.
And it scares the shit out of me. So I don't have a lot of faith in the medical system.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't
talk me through this.
So
because that's got to change, buddy.
So I don't have a lot of faith because I've seen misdiagnoses, I've seen lack of care, I've seen them get it wrong one too many times.
Okay.
And some or misdiagnosed.
You're generalizing, buddy.
I am. I really am. But I've seen it firsthand.
Okay.
And there's a fear, a healthy fear that comes along with, well, what if I get misdiagnosed? Or what if you read me wrong? What if there is something there and you're like, nope, you're all healthy, buddy. You're good to go.
You can get a second opinion.
Well, shit, Brian. Yes, I'm aware I can get a second opinion. I get that. But there's a healthy fear of
Okay. I'm not gonna
downplay of going to. And now I get it. There are great doctors out there.
Yes.
I understand that. I get that. But there is a healthy fear of going into the doctor and they don't take you seriously. You got this, you got that.
Okay.
I got this rash that I never had before 6 months ago.
Right. Okay.
And now I do. And here's a prescription. Here's some antibiotics. Come back if it gets worse. Well, if you don't deal with it, it always gets worse. And that's what I mean. So sometimes I feel like they're just kind of like, here's this.
Okay. So but you're generalizing.
I'm definitely generalizing.
I have not found that with any doctor that I've had the.
Well, maybe second opinions are necessary.
Well, yeah. But it could also be more than that. There's a root to why you feel that way.
For sure. I said, I've seen it firsthand. Misdiagnosis, not taken seriously.
And if there's some trauma involved with things that you saw that you should never have seen, then it's complicated and layered for you.
100%. Then that takes, and that's what creates the distrust.
Right. Yeah. But you need to rewire your brain and realize that they're there to help you.
Yeah. That part I understand.
Okay. All right.
That part I understand.
Jay, I am sure there are times in your life where you have not been misdiagnosed, that you've had success. There's got to be stories.
Yeah, there is. There is.
Well, let's hear them.
There is. So a handful of years ago, I was overtraining.
Okay.
And I was having some chest pains.
Ooh.
Now, mind you, I was young and in fantastic shape.
Okay.
So it was just crazy to me to even think that there could be something wrong with my heart.
Okay.
I was young. I was healthy.
Yeah.
So the fact that there could be something wrong with my heart wasn't even an option.
Right.
but there was. And so they ran a bunch of tests. So I was young, I was healthy,
Yes.
and they took me seriously.
Okay.
Unlike my other.
Okay. Move on.
They took me seriously.
Okay.
And they ran a bunch of tests.
Okay.
And they found out that I have an extra heartbeat.
Okay.
Like a flutter.
Okay.
So not a murmur, not nothing like that. There's no hole in my heart.
Okay.
It's just an extra beat.
But they did these tests.
They did. Yeah, I wore a pacemaker and all that kind of good stuff.
Monitor. Yeah.
Yep. And so it's just totally sporadic. It's beep 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 beep, and it throws an extra one in there. Yeah. I don't faint. I don't get dizzy. Yeah. It's just I feel it and off I go. Okay. And over the years now, I just know what it is and I deal with it and off I go. And seeing how this is Men's Health episode, this is fitting for our fitness segment. I would like to just take a second here and talk about Jelly Roll's fitness transformation.
Oh, okay.
Just give a second now and listen to this fitness journey.
All right.
Okay. You know who Jelly Roll is?
Yeah, like 500 something pounds when you started or what?
Okay. You're on the right track.
Okay.
540 pounds.
Okay.
Is where he started at. Okay.
All right.
And so he was on a talk show, Jimmy Kimmel.
Right.
And he said, in a year, by March 2026, I want to be on the cover of Men's Health magazine.
Okay.
Well, my friend, he's ahead of schedule because this winter edition, Jelly Roll is currently right now on the cover of Men's Health.
So how did you do it?
He changed up some lifestyle choices when he was on tour. When he would go to a stadium, he would run the stairs. He would run the stadium. He got a nutritionist. He started lifting weights. He made some serious changes in his health. Little changes at first, right? Mm-hmm. We both know that that's how it starts. Little changes at first, but they compound. Those changes compound into his transformation, and it is so impressive. Yeah. It is so impressive. He's lost over 275 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 275 pounds. The day of the photo shoot for the Men's Health cover, he was 225 pounds.
Wow.
It's impressive. If you've seen a picture before and after, it's so impressive to see the pictures. Yeah. And which brings me to when you and I were actively a part of the Dad Bod Transformation page.
Great Facebook group.
Yes.
I was moderator.
Yes, right? And it's the same excitement that I get reading his fitness journey that we used to get when we were on that page, and you'd see guys, I'm down 8 pounds, I'm down 100 pounds. Yeah, it's the same excitement that I get.
So much I'm lifting now.
And it's that same excitement. And it's the same excitement I get when I'm driving along and I see somebody jogging.
Yeah.
For that very brief 2 minutes or 2 seconds that I'm driving past them and I'm watching them jog, I get this sense of joy for them. And it's just like, go get it. Get after it.
Yeah.
And honestly, for 2026, get after it. How about yourself, Brian? Do you have something off the list from the doctors or a story for yourself?
Well, it's a story. It's my sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Now there's, the snoring sleep apnea, but mine isn't that. So first of all, I'll back up. I have a CPAP machine I've used for the past 5 years, and it's not the Darth Vader kind that sit on your face.
Yeah, I got you.
Hardly breathe.
Yeah.
These are two little nose prongs, and they send air through to my nose, to my lungs, to me to continue to breathe.
Yeah.
And when people find out I have a CPAP machine, they automatically assume I'm a snorer.
Okay.
But I'm not. There's sleep apnea, which is the OSA, the obstructive sleep apnea, and there's the central sleep apnea, the CSA, and I have the CSA.
Okay.
And that just means it's neurological. The brain doesn't send proper signals to the breathing muscles. Oh. So my airway isn't physically blocked, like my tongue or I'm overweight or instead the brain fails to trigger breathing for a short period of time. And my breathing stops because the body just forgets to breathe.
Get out of here.
No. Seriously. And this is interesting. And my wife would notice, before I had my CPAP machine, my wife would notice there were times during the night that I'd be very still and very quiet. And I'd just stop breathing. And she would give me an elbow and I would start breathing again. And being an ICU nurse, there were times that she felt like she was going to jump on my chest and give me CPR because I was like holding my breath.
Yeah.
And then you gasp and you take up the air again. You get back on breathing.
Yeah.
And so these were the signs that suggested I had CSA. There were pauses in my breathing during the night. I was waking up suddenly, feeling short of breath or gasping for air. And I had difficulty staying asleep, or there was frequent wakenings, like 4 to 8 times during the night. So
What?
I did. So when I went to be tested, and also there was an excessive sleepiness during the day, like exhausted. Even if you think that there were times, and I hate to admit this, but I can count 5 times where I fell asleep driving home from work.
Wow.
And the vehicle hit the gravel on the side of the road. Thank goodness I went that way and not across the line into oncoming traffic. And it was enough to jar me and and I just thought, I'm exhausted. It's a long day at work. But I had never gotten a good night's sleep for years. And there was difficulty concentrating and memory problems during work. And my best work I knew had to be done in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I was a bag of shit come the afternoon. When it came to getting work done, it was just I was exhausted. My memory, my attention was not there. I was just exhausted.
Yeah, your energy was gone.
I would be looking for my bed at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
That's there. So I got tested, and yes, I have severe, CSA. And it's measured by an hypoapnea index, which is the AHI. And it's specifically for people such as myself. It's not a snoring issue. It's when the brain is it measures how many times I stop breathing in an hour.
Okay.
So I went into a sleep test, and they did all the hookups, and I went to bed. And just take a guess. When the count came back, and this is what the doctors did to me after my report, he said, take a guess how many times you stop breathing in a 7-hour period.
Okay, so it's not due to snoring.
No, it's not due to snoring. It's just a neurological pathway that stops me from breathing.
Okay, so I'm just going to try and logically think.
Okay.
How many times would your brain forget that you're hey, buddy, we need to keep breathing?
Yeah.
I'm going to say in the run of a 7-hour night.
Yeah.
I'm going to say like 12 times.
Higher.
Higher than 12 times your brain would forget to remind you to breathe?
Higher. Keep going. Higher.
22 times.
Higher.
What?
Higher.
What's wrong with your brain?
Higher.
Oh my God. Higher than 22 times.
Higher.
Okay. 30 times.
Higher.
What? Okay, no wonder why your wife wanted to give you CPR.
And she was concerned because she would go on nights at the hospital.
Oh my
so I'd be sleeping by myself too.
Yeah.
And it is one of the number one causes of men's death.
Yeah.
Because it's chalked up for a heart attack or a stroke, and it's because the heart has stopped pumping and is over excessive pumping to get you back on track.
Oh my God.
So, but take a guess, one more guess, and I'll just tell you.
Okay, so 45 times.
252 times.
What? 200?
Yes, and the longest time was 40 seconds that I stopped breathing, and I thought, this guy's bullshitting me. There's no way.
Yeah. Wouldn't there be brain damage or something?
Well, because I would come back into breathing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was 7 seconds, sometimes it was 10 seconds, but the longest period was 40 seconds without, and then I would just, grasp for air, and I would wake up and get back on track and go back to sleep.
Oh my God.
So when I met with the sleep doctor and he told me the results, he said, and you need a CPAP machine. And I said, yeah, I do need a CPAP machine. I'll book an appointment and I'll order one. He says, no, you're not hearing me. I've already booked you an appointment. And you need to go down to get it this afternoon because you need to start it tonight.
Oh my!
And I said, "Are you serious?" And he says, "I am serious, because you need it." So, but what's really interesting is that night I got REM sleep. I dreamed for the first time in my life that I could remember because my body had never got to REM because it always would go into this cycle, stop breathing, I'd get back up.
Right.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as I started doing that, I stopped falling asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
I stopped feeling dozy at work.
Yeah.
My wife could sleep a lot more comfortably knowing that I was sleeping okay.
Yeah.
And it's just these two little nose prongs
that
that fall in. So if you are having sleep issues, get to the doctor and just say, you know what, is this a concern? I'm not a snorer. I'm not overweight.
Yeah.
But there's something that I think that needs to be checked out.
Wow, that's insane.
And I'm so glad that he did, because I may not be here right now as I aged.
Yeah.
Because it's such a stress on the heart.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you got checked.
Yeah, me too.
Wow.
Me too.
Brian, moving on to nutrition. Can you just read off the list in front of you there from the doctor's responses
Sure.
for nutrition?
The common theme between the 4 doctors seem to be obesity, alcohol use, and acid reflux.
Okay.
Those are the things that guys don't
for nutrition
address or have difficulty bringing it up.
Yeah.
That's there.
Yeah.
And I know I talked a little bit about my weight loss in, I think it was episode 2. But just to recap, when I weighed 50 pounds or more, and my blood pressure was through the roof, and I think the doctor put me on Norvas to help with my ankle swelling and my just exhaustion, my dangerously high blood pressure readings, and my frequent nosebleeds. Yeah. So those are the things that I was concerned about, and that's why I went in. And he put me on the meds. And the doctor was blunt. He said, you're going to take these meds indefinitely, and if symptoms worsen, please come back in, and otherwise return in a year, and we'll decide whether we double the dose, keep it the same, or take you off it completely. But this is the kicker. This is what he said that just was a slap in the face and a kick in the ass that I needed. He says, in the meantime, I strongly recommend that you and your wife update your wills and that you also recheck your insurance policy, because the route you're on is not good, Brian. Oh my God.
What a wake-up call.
It was. So I needed to change some fitness habits. I needed to change some nutrition habits. And I did. And I came back a year later. I was 25 pounds lighter. And he took me off the meds. And since then, I've lost another 25 pounds. But it was interesting because it was I was more concerned about the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
And then he did check the blood pressure, and it was high. And my ankles, sometimes there was inflammation, sometimes there wasn't, but there was some swelling that was happening there. So, but that was a trigger for the blood pressure meds.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So what do you got? I know you hinted a little bit in a previous episode about diabetes. So where are you at?
Well, I haven't gotten back to get my blood work done yet.
Okay. Why is that?
I've just time availability, all that kind of good stuff. And when they here comes a little honesty. So when they told me that my numbers were high and that I was pre-diabetic,
right,
I went in complete rebel mode. My diet went all to hell, and all of my eating habits went out the window.
Okay.
And I almost ate anything and everything that I wasn't supposed to eat out of complete defiance.
Really?
Absolutely. No, not almost. Correction. It was out of complete defiance.
Because you were pissed off that they told you had prediabetes.
Yes,
sir.
You
were following things to a T.
100%.
You were fit.
Yeah.
You were eating what you should be eating.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, you've got this. And you just said, the hell with this.
And I said, oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to prove it.
Oh, really? So like I said, I went into rebel mode and I ate everything. I was like, oh, so I've been diligent with myself. And yet I was like, oh, I'll show you. Really, I mean, I didn't show them. That was my mistake. I mean, Jesus, I would cut my nose off in spite of my face, wouldn't I? I'm so spiteful. So I've recently, I've gotten myself back on track and out of that rebel mindset.
Okay.
Hopefully, when I go back, my blood work is better. Honestly, around Christmas time, I wasn't as diligent as I normally am, and the cakes, the cookies, the pastries, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, I indulged in that a little more than I didn't overindulge. I wasn't in the defiance mode still, but I did overindulge more than I would have if I was being diligent, right? And so now we're going to go into vacation mode.
Okay.
All right. So I'm just going to bump it back a couple of months and get myself back on track after vacation and go and get some blood work done. But I would also like to just take a minute here and point out what's incredible is that you can change your numbers in just a couple of months.
Okay.
Because my mom did.
Okay.
She was diligent with herself, and she changed a few things. She changed a few of her habits, and she managed to get her numbers where her doctor wanted them to be.
Right. But she had her numbers.
Yeah.
She got tested.
Yes.
She got her numbers.
Yes.
And then she did something different.
Yes.
And she got numbers again.
Yes.
To see
and
that
they were lower.
Difference. They were lower.
And her doctor was like, "Great job."
Okay.
And I'm proud of her. I'm so proud of her. And I kept saying, like, "Mom, I'm so proud of you." And she's very diligent with herself, even through Christmas. Like, she was very diligent with herself. And here I am sitting across the table in my Spidey headspace. Yeah. So, putting myself back on track.
Okay.
Is the absolute first and foremost goal.
Okay.
When I come back from vacation, because I need those numbers to be different.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold you to that.
I hope you do.
I
hope you do.
Right
I hope you do.
So when's your doctor's appointment?
I don't have one.
Well, get one booked. You think they're going to sit around and wait for you to call?
Listen.
No, you got to get on your calendar.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, I will. But okay, first of all right, I don't have all the answers, and I don't claim to know everything, but I do know that being rebellious and spiteful is not the answer.
You're right.
Honest to God,
You're
because I have probably put myself in a uphill fight.
Yeah.
Being rebellious and in that mindset when I should have just buckled down and just
just do it. Book the appointment.
It's just not who I am.
Bullshit.
It's just not. I hate being told what to do. I hate it.
Get over it, buddy. Come on.
Honest to God. So okay. So yes,
do it for your wife. Do it for your kids.
I absolutely will.
Forget about you if that's the case.
I will. I absolutely will. But honestly, that is my first and foremost goal. When I come back from vacation, I will.
Okay.
I'm going to.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Absolutely.
I'll be right on your ass, buddy.
Absolutely. I really wish you would.
Okay.
Brian, for mental health, what's on the list? What aren't we talking about with our doctors?
I think just mental health.
Mental health in general.
To deal with our mental health.
Yeah. I would. Okay, you know what? I would have to agree with you because that's exactly what my segment is on.
Okay.
The self.
Okay.
And sometimes we have physical symptoms that pop up that are a result of a problem that we can't see. Oftentimes we can't see it. So your doctor treats the symptoms with meds or topical creams like they're trained to do in med school. Mm-hmm. But it's the other doctor that's sometimes needed. The one where you go and sit down on the couch and you start peeling back some layers. Okay. And when your GP says to you, "Have you been dealing with any new stress lately? Or have you been dealing with anything stressful in your life lately?" The answer oftentimes is, "Nope, nothing new, doc." And honestly, that's the true and correct answer. Nope, nothing new, because it's not new. Because you haven't been dealing with the stressful stuff. So it's not new. It's all the same old stress. It's all the same old stuff. So nothing is out of the ordinary. But you haven't dealt with any of the real root causes. So in all the years I've been seeing my doctor, he's never said, "What about therapy?" You know, he's great. He's always suggesting natural stuff, natural remedies, all that kind of stuff, which I love about him. But he's never once said, "What about therapy? What about therapy, Jay?" Or maybe there's a bigger picture here, Jay, you know? So I don't know if there's doctors. Wouldn't it be lovely if your GP just sent you down the hallway to your therapist?
Well, there are doctors who know a lot about mental health.
I'm sure there is.
Realize that it's a team effect.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
So don't generalize.
All right. But for me, I would love the convenience of going down the hall and to the other doctor.
This is your story.
Absolutely. And so, and that's what this conversation is. That's what this podcast is. It's normalizing and making it okay to talk about mental health. Right. Because we have this culture that doesn't. And that's the goal that you and I set out to do, was advocate for mental health. And so I'm not trying to shit all over the GPs here. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to advocate for the other doctor. And sometimes we don't go to the other doctor because it's not the one that's familiar. It's not the one that's often talked about.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would love to be able to say, make mental health more accessible and acceptable. Okay, Brian, enough of my ranting.
No. It's not ranting.
Yeah.
I can hear you're so passionate about mental health.
Yes.
Men getting the help they need to
Yeah.
unpack things that have been buried. So if they can unpack it, then that may alleviate some symptoms that manifest themselves in their body that the doctors are dealing with.
Yeah,
Whether
and-
that's hives
yeah.
or whether it's heart or whatever.
Yeah.
So I get what you're talking about.
And I feel like we, at some point, we just need to let's flip the script. Let's break the mold. Let's
And we're doing that.
Let's
Come
rewrite
on.
the script
We are
already.
doing that.
You know,
We're doing that. Now
Yeah.
my mental health example, very personal. I hummed and hawed if I should even talk about this.
Okay.
But if I can help one person, it's worth it. So about 4 years ago, I brought several concerns to my doctor.
Mhm.
Low energy, inconsistent libido, frequent nighttime urination, and sometimes 2 to 4 times during the night, and a post dribbling that could continue up to 30 seconds after I'd finished. It doesn't matter if I'm sitting or standing, and it literally pissed me off.
Yeah, I'd say.
And also, experiencing excessive tightness of the phimosis, which was extremely painful.
Sorry to cut you off. What's phimosis? Sorry.
I knew you were going to ask. And basically, it's tight foreskin.
Okay.
And
Sorry,
along with some intense, uncontrollable itching at the base of the gland. So I
Okay.
brought this
Yeah.
to my doctor. The worst thing I could do was to go to Mr. Google
Oh shit.
and convince myself that I might need a circumcision at age 62. And that sent my anxiety through the roof.
Yeah.
And I know, I've got, my wife would be listening to this saying, too much information, Brian. Don't go there. And my daughters who are listening are thinking, Dad, I can't unhear this. And my parents are likely thinking, you don't need to talk about this, Brian. It's very private. Well, to all that, I say, bullshit.
Good for you.
If sharing this helps one guy recognize the symptoms and lowers his anxiety or gets him into the doctor's office sooner, then it's worth it. And that's the whole mandate of our podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
And after I explained everything to my doctor, and he did the initial examination, and he referred me immediately to a urologist.
Mhm.
Thank God he did.
Yeah.
And I saw the urologist a couple times a year, and now it's yearly. But he monitors my prostate health,
Mhm.
And all my relevant numbers. And I've requested, my free testosterone levels to be included, so it can be tracked for my hormones. I was prescribed a tamsulosin, which is 1 tablet a night, and it significantly reduces my nighttime urination, getting up from the middle of the night.
Okay, yeah.
Which I have to take off my CPAP machine.
Oh my God! I never thought of that.
And then, yeah,
that's a whole ordeal.
Oh my God!
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, try not to wake up. Either.
Oh God, yeah.
Anyway, so that 1 capsule a night, it stops the post dribble, and then for the painful tightness around the gland, I was prescribed a Hydum cream, which is really small amounts of menthol and camphor. Mm-hmm. And circumcision is not the first line of treatment for most adult cases, despite what Google is screaming at me. It is an option. I won't say it because some guys had to go down that route.
Yeah,
but there are several things that can happen before that. And for itching, I was prescribed a Lamisil cream. And he was also prescribed some additional medication related to my sexual health. But when I showed up to my doctor and to my urologist, I have a written list of questions for him. And it's written, and they joke. They say, oh my God, you're a retired educator, aren't you, with those lists? And I'll say, absolutely. But I know myself well enough that I have this white coat syndrome or this white coat hypertension. And my blood pressure rises in the medical system setting. And I get really anxious. I get tongue-tied. And I forget to ask questions that are really important. And so this list helps me to stay grounded and focused. So the bottom line is be upfront with your doctor.
Yeah.
Talk about your prostate, checks, your sexual health, your urinary issues, any unusual symptoms. Talk openly. Even check with a trustworthy buddy. because we don't talk about these things. And leave your friggin' ego at the door. And vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's really what it is how you stay healthy. So without me going to the doctor and dealing with all of those things that were making my brain go wild, I just laid it out and said, this is what I'm dealing with. And he says, okay, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. Let me know. We're going to monitor this. We got this urologist watching your numbers. Get the checks that you need.
It's like you said, it's the way to stay healthy.
You got to.
Brian, while the list is in front of you there, what do you have for relationships?
Well, it's interesting because all 4 doctors talked mainly about the same topics. Marital relationship conflicts. That was something that seems private, but it was opened up and talked to their doctor about sexual orientation, sexual identity concerns. They kept the fear of judgment or stigma. And if that's the case, then you know what? Get the HPV vaccine, the Hep A, the Hep B, the monkeypox, and get tested for regularly for the STI testing. Something else they talked about that I was surprised was partner violence. That comes into their office that guys do not talk about. So if you're a guy and you feel controlled, scared, hurt by your partner, it's not your fault. Abuse can happen to anyone, and seeking help is a sign of strength. And you can reach out to a trained professional confidentially, and there's a hotline, and I'll put it in the show notes. Because it's in the area if this happens to be, if this is speaking to you. Even talking to a trusted friend or counselor is the first step, because you're not alone. In fact, of all the reports that have been reported to the police regarding partner violence, 1 in 5 of those police reports are males. And I'm sure it could be higher, but the stigma is man up, take it. And so if there's physical energy or injuries, constant criticism, controlling behavior, threats, isolation, stalking, false accusations, talk to your doctor and at least have them direct you in an area. And they're trained. They can look for some red flags. They can question about some things. And
does it say where the red flags are?
Well, it talked about lack of eye contact when you're talking with your doctor, using humor, brushing it off, or it's nothing. Those were all red flags.
We do this all the time.
Red flags for them to go a little bit further to inquire. So that was about relationships. And the other one they talked about was vasectomies, that guys are hesitant to come in to talk about their sexual health and getting a vasectomy.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about their vasectomy?
Yeah.
Oh,
what?
Are you serious? That's my story.
Oh, it's mine too? Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm totally serious. Are you?
I had no idea you were going to talk about this in the segment.
Yeah, that's the segment.
Oh my God, wait till
you
you're mine. Oh my God.
Oh, buddy.
But you know what? It needed to happen, and it happened, and onward and upward.
Okay, so I just want to take a second here before we continue.
Okay.
Just for our listeners.
Yeah.
This goes to guys. For those of you that are listening, we have show notes. Okay, so we have like little point notes what we want to talk about here. We don't know each other's point notes. No. We have no idea what the other. No, we have no idea what the other one's going to say. So the fact that we both came to this segment with the same topic,
and it fell under relationship.
Yes, both of us had. It's not like mine was under mental health. No, both under relationships. Okay. Oh, right. That's too funny. I can't believe guys are worried about talking about their vasectomy. I'm not at all.
You know what? A lot of guys grew up or growing up hearing scary or inaccurate information about vasectomies. They'll say, well, it'll mess up my masculinity.
Bullshit.
Sex won't feel the same.
Oh, bullshit.
And you won't be able to perform.
Bullshit.
And none of that is true medically.
No.
But fear is powerful, especially around anything involving, your private areas.
Right.
That's there.
Yeah, I get that.
And some guys will think, well, what if I change my mind? Well, a vasectomy can be reversed.
Yep.
If that's the case, and that is a common procedure.
Yeah.
If that if that's a situation that needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize that there are some cultural differences. Male sterilization is stigmatized. Get over it. Birth control is seen as a woman's responsibility.
Oh, again, bullshit.
But double bullshit on
bullshit.
that.
Yeah.
And women are discouraged about talking openly about reproductive health. Well, get over it.
Yeah.
You have a responsibility here.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
yeah.
So, and the procedure's quick. It can happen under 30 minutes. Recovery is very mild, usually. A bag of peas on your scrotum, and it does not affect your hormones, doesn't affect your voice level, does not affect your strength or your sex drive.
No, not
That's
at all. No.
So let's hear your story when it comes to vasectomy.
Okay. So I think it was in 2010 or 2012. I can't remember exactly, but when I had gotten my vasectomy. I don't exactly remember the date, but I do remember I was nervous. I was nervous as shit. I remember sitting in the waiting room with all the other guys. And some of the guys had their wives there with them. I had my mother-in-law. She came with me because, as you do know, you're not allowed to drive after the procedure. So she sat in the waiting room with me. And while she sat patiently reading her book, I sat nervously waiting to be called. My legs were tapping, my palms were sweaty, my heart was beating. So as I sat there nervously waiting my turn, I went through a whole gamut of what was going to happen, how it was going to do. And I can tell you, if you're going for a vasectomy, the last thing you want to do is watch YouTube videos of vasectomies leading up to your vasectomy.
How many people do that?
I did. And I can tell you, don't. So when the doctor finally came out, said, and called my name, and so I got up and I was like, all right, I'll be back, to my mother-in-law. All right, I'll be back. And as we were walking away, and he said, oh, your wife's not going to come with you? Because other wives were going in with the guys. And I said, oh, that's not my wife. That's my mother-in-law. And he said, does she want to come? And without thinking, I shrugged and I looked back at my mother-in-law. I was like, you want to go? You want to come in with us?
Oh, Jay.
The look on her... The look on her face with I cannot believe he just asked me this question. And her response was, good God, no.
Oh, Jay.
So fast forward. So I left my mother-in-law in the waiting room and I followed the doctor into the procedure room. So got on the table. I laid very still like I'm supposed to. I was a great little patient. And I made one crucial mistake.
What was that?
I made eye contact with the doctor.
Why is that a mistake?
Well, because I got to see the whole procedure in the reflection of his face shield.
Oh my God, Jay!
So I got to watch my vasectomy in real time in the reflection of his face shield. Wow. I can tell you, there are some things you don't want to see.
And that you can never unsee.
Yeah. I was like, I cannot believe I'm watching this right now. Fast forward, procedures all done and over with. I don't remember it being an awkward car ride home. It wasn't awkward at all emotionally, just physically. I sat with a bag of peas on my crotch and she drove. But that was about it. It was just physically awkward, not emotionally awkward. And to this day, we both have a great laugh anytime this story comes up in conversation.
Yeah.
Oh my God. She's like, remember that time you asked me if I wanted to come in with your vasectomy? Oh, honestly, I watched the whole thing. I'm glad she didn't say, yes, I'm coming in.
Oh my God.
Honest to God. But I can give advice. If you're thinking about having a vasectomy, go get one. If it's down to you and your wife, you getting a vasectomy or her getting her tubes tied, the vasectomy is so much less invasive. You're in, you're out, you're off and running.
You're not off and running.
True enough.
But
yes. They give you a bag of peas or a bag of corn and off you go.
Yeah.
And but there's nothing to be afraid of. We all come in different shapes and sizes. If that's what you're worried about, I can assure you your doctor has seen it all. Mm-hmm. Don't be nervous. Mm-hmm. Just go get it.
Go get it.
Okay, Brian. How about yourself?
Okay.
Let me have this.
First of all, when you book the appointment, there's a consultation with the doctor to make sure you go over why is this important to you.
Yeah, that's
to
right.
have one.
Yeah,
and for me, it's a little bit different. My wife has Wolff Parkinson's White, which is a WPW syndrome, and it's a heart condition caused by an extra electrical pathway that leads to episodes of abnormal, fast heart rhythms.
Okay,
and because of that, each pregnancy carries increased cardiovascular risk to her health. So it was an absolutely no-brainer. Given that reality, I immediately booked my vasectomy. Mm-hmm. And the surgeon was highly qualified. Mm-hmm. He was in the community. He's also a hobby farmer. Okay. So besides being a surgeon on the side, he was a hobby farmer. Mm-hmm. And I had seen him the previous weekend at the local fair handling chickens, pigs, and beef cattle.
Well,
so I'm there laying on the table, Jay, waiting for my snip. And in walks this guy. And I look at him and I say, if you handle my balls the way I saw you handle that livestock last weekend at the local fair, I am out of here. Well, he laughed and said, Brian, you won't feel a thing. You know what? He was right.
Yeah.
I did not feel a thing.
Yeah.
After the procedure, I was instructed to book a post-vasectomy semen analysis, which is a PVSA. And the purpose of that test is to confirm that the semen contains no sperm.
Correct.
Indicating that the vasectomy has been successful. And I was told I had to wait, 8 to 12 weeks and maybe 20 to 30 ejaculations before submitting the sample.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, wait till my wife hears this. And naturally I had questions, can I have sex during that waiting period? How fresh does the sample need to be? Am I in the medical center parking lot? And, do I have to fill up a jar and run in and say, here's my load? What would I do? Coming in hot. And with my luck to be an elderly person in the car beside me, calling me security or something. But no, seriously. So, but unfortunately, I picked a Wednesday, and it was senior blood day at the lab. So, in the waiting room was full of elderly folks who had fasted and are waiting patiently to get their numbers checked.
Oh my God!
Before they could have breakfast.
Oh my God!
So, and I was the youngest patient in this room, and I'm holding a paper bag, silently praying that no one would speak to me.
Oh, I bet you were.
So eventually my name was called, and I walked up to the counter, and I realized that the clerk was my niece's boyfriend's mother.
Oh, it just gets better for you.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God.
And she says, oh, Brian, how are you? And my mouth dropped, and I said, oh, good. She says, now what brings you in today? And I'm blushing, and I say, well, I'm just dropping off a sample to be tested. And she assumed it was a urine sample. And she peeks in the bag, and she says, get this. She says, oh, you put it in a mason jar.
Oh, my God.
Well, that's all I had at all.
Like any good farmer would.
So I said I didn't have anything smaller. So she says, without missing a beat, Brian, we can't accept this. It's the jar is contaminated. You're going to have to use one of our cups and bring the sample in again. And I said, what? She suggests me a little cup, and I'll say, well, yeah, I'll bring it back, but it won't be a Wednesday when this waiting room is full of people. And she says, whenever you bring it back, we'll make sure it gets tested. So I thought, so lesson learned. Yeah. Do not use a mason jar.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Did you ask her if she had to fill it? Okay, Brian, all jokes aside, the reason why I asked if you filled the jar is because I asked if I had to fill mine.
Oh my gosh, you serious?
100% I'm serious. So I went to Life Labs, and they gave me the little plastic bag, or the little paper bag with the little plastic cup in there with the lid on it, and blah 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 blah. And she gave it to me, and she said, "Come back in a week. Here, put your sample in there. Come back in a week." And I was like, oh, come back in a week? And she's like, yeah. And so I said, so I have a week to fill the cup?
Oh my God.
That's why I asked. That's why
they don't tell you this.
They don't tell you at all. So
No.
I assumed I had a week to fill the cup.
Oh,
I'm telling you. So that's why I asked.
That's why you go with all your questions to your doctor before it actually happens.
That's why I can't be unsupervised.
The bottom line is, if a couple wants, permanent birth control,
Yep.
a vasectomy is safer, recovery is easier, and the risk is lower.
And it's reliable.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yes. Now there are stories out there.
Yep.
You will, and I don't want to downplay that, because yes, your doctor needs, if there's abnormal swelling or if things aren't improving and whatever, you need to contact your doctor for sure.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, it's the procedure is done, you're finished, but don't use a mason jar.
Yeah, right. What do you have for lifelong learning, Brian?
Well, it's an interesting question when I look at my mortality, and that's organ donations. I've already signed my form. My wife already knows my wishes, that if I'm end of life and I'm brain dead, that I want, and I've already given her permission. The heart, the lung, the liver, the kidney, the pancreas, the intestines, bone, skin, cornea, heart, valves, tendons, ligaments, blood vessels, anything that can be used. I'm giving permission for that to happen.
Wow.
Now, I know that the chances are slim that I would actually qualify, because I need to be brain dead for my organs to be living, for them to sustain them, to remove them. And I know my wife is an ICU, or is a retired ICU nurse, and she says it's one of the most difficult questions to have with family. There's a loved one in the room, and the discussion of organ donations come up, and it's a very serious, private topic. They're grieving themselves, and to make this important decision, but time is critical. There's the organ transplant team, waiting on call, because they need to
fully aware
to harvest the organs to get them to the recipient. And if you are on a waiting list, and we know people who have been on waiting lists, whether it's kidneys or lung waiting lists or liver, and they're waiting because there's only a certain window for them to qualify too. There has to be a match for them. So and it's something that we don't talk about with our doctors. And so have that discussion with your family, with your doctor, because it's so much easier. I don't want to put my daughters and my wife through that discussion with them knowing, should we, shouldn't we, what are his wishes? And now it's laid out. My wishes are already there. I know that this is what could happen. And yes, they would, lose a husband and lose a dad. But they also gaining 5, 6, 7 other people who are going to benefit from those organs. So please consider them. I know it's a topic guys don't talk about with your doctor. Talk about it with your loved ones, and if that's something you want to do, then make it known that this is your wishes.
So sorry, just to circle back to what you said about being a donor, you have to be brain dead. So you're not actually dead?
Well, the organs have to be living, right?
Oh.
If the organs are dead, there's no way they can be transplanted.
Oh,
so
yeah,
the organs have to be harvested, and so if the lungs are still working, the heart's still working, the kidneys are still working, they all are, and the term is harvested, are harvested from the deceased and transported. And I know if we live closer to an airport, my wife would be an air ambulance right away. She loves the adrenaline rush. And that, it's not for everybody. But it's a topic that guys don't want to address. They don't think that their mortality is part of the plan. But tomorrow is not promised. So let's live life to the fullest. And when that day comes, that day comes.
So have the conversation.
Have the conversation with your doctor and with your family. Jer, last pillar is lifelong learning. So what do you got? What have you learned from this whole experience?
Wow. Well, I was having a hard time with this one. I really was. And I was having a really hard time trying to come up with something for the lifelong learning segment. But more so, the moving forward of our lifelong learning segment, because that's really what the lifelong learning segment is. It's a, how do you add this to your life? How do you make this applicable to your life? And that's what really our lifelong segment is, right? It's moving forward, basically.
Yeah.
And I really had a hard time trying to cram all of it into one.
Okay. So where do you want to start?
What did I learn this episode? And well, I guess what I did learn is that I'm stubborn, I'm petty, I'm spiteful, and I will cut my nose off in spite of my face.
All right. That's huge insight.
It really, really, really is. Looking back through my notes, I was like, oh, wow, you are rebellious to your core. Yeah, if somebody tells you you can't or you don't, I will challenge that till the cows come home. That's what I have learned. But that's just one piece of it. To go back through just briefly, to go back through our segments, some of the doctor-related questions I didn't have stories for because I didn't have relatable things for it. I just didn't. I just couldn't draw parallels. I could do research, and I had some of the stats in my phone and in my notes, but I didn't actually have anything relatable to go with it from the stats, right? So for our fitness segment, I talked about Jelly Roll and his impressive transformation, which led me down to talk about our dad bod transformation, our time with dad bod transformation, and being a part of that group, and how excited I get for people when they're going through a transformation, and the joy I get seeing somebody in their successful moment of when they're changing their lives. And I really, really felt like that was the truest form for me as far as men's health goes.
Right.
I am a cheerleader. I am a natural cheerleader when I see somebody's success, and I'm all in it.
Right.
Strap your boots on, let's go, because I'm in it with you. Right. Because I'm just as excited for you. So I would like to say to those out there who are changing yourself physically and going through a transformation like Jelly Roll was, like I talked about in our fitness segment, I wish you nothing but success in your transformation in 2026. Let's strap on our boots and get after it. Now, for nutrition, I talked about diabetes. And I talked about my high blood sugar, and I talked about all that kind of stuff, and being back at the doctors and being rebellious, as I said, and eating whatever I wanted out of spite. Now, that is not healthy. That is not a healthy mindset to be in. And I know that. And that's what I have learned in this segment. Good. That is not a healthy mindset. And I really need to take that into therapy and unpack that.
Yeah.
Why?
There's stuff going on there, buddy.
Why does that lead them telling me this? I'm saying, no, you got to be wrong about that. And going down the path that I went down. So getting myself back on track was the important turnover on that. Then my relationship segment. I talked about my vasectomy and my mother-in-law. Need I say more? So moving on to our mental health segment, I talked about self-stuff and advocating for self. And when it really comes to advocating for mental health, I really feel like that's what the goal is. That's what the mission is here. That's what we're trying to do. Keep pushing forward, keep pushing the mental health. And that's what I want to keep doing in 2026.
Good for you.
So, lifelong learning. How do I make this applicable and move forward? Trust your GP. They're there to help. Get a second opinion and spread the word that mental health is just as important as physical health. And that wraps up today's episode of Coffee and Conversations for Men.
Thanks for spending time with us. We truly appreciate it.
Be sure to check out the show notes for resources, links, and everything we've covered today.
Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed this conversation, share it with a friend or leave us a review. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
You can follow us on Instagram at Coffee and Conversations for Men. That's 4 as in the number 4. Got a topic you'd like us to explore? Reach out and let us know.
Just a quick reminder, We're not therapists, we're not counselors, we're not licensed professionals, just two longtime friends sharing real stories and lessons from our own lives.
So if you're facing challenges with your health, your mental well-being, or your relationships, we encourage you to seek guidance from qualified professionals.
We hope our conversation sparked reflection, encouraged growth, and helped you feel more connected.
Until next time, this is Jay
and Brian,
reminding you to grab your coffee
or your favorite drink
and keep the conversations going. To stay strong,
stay curious,
and stay connected.